Something I read about you, you describe your writing as a phrase I hadn't come across before, but I love it. It's hip lit. What is hip lit?
Yeah, I totally made that up. And I called it that, and that I created that phrase back when I did my series. So my first series book came out in 2007, and it was just my version of like hip hop literature. And all it meant was that, you were seeing contemporary um, Black kids in, middle class and working class environments. Um, Before my book came out, a lot of the books that were most prominent, and that's still sort of the case now, but a lot of the books that were most prominent were the historical fiction, were the stories where it was perhaps the character was from an inner city. You rarely got to see characters from the suburbs. And as we have been saying, especially recently, where were the Black joy books? Where are the books where, kids are just being kids? And that's what hip lit was for me. It was these kids, they were very much immersed in hip hop culture in terms of the type of music that they listened to, the slang that they used, and they were just formed by hip hop. And so I just called it that because that's what it felt like.
And that segues naturally into something I can't help but ask you about. You met Flavor Flav. How'd that happen?
Yeah, boy. I was in college and I'm a sorority girl. I'm in Alpha Kappa Alpha, and my sorority sister, her cousin was in Public Enemy at the time. And she had played a part in getting them to come down. I went to James Madison, and she had played a part in getting them to come down and do a concert. So they did. And some of us were able to hang out in the green room after the show. And so I don't know how it came about, but Chuck D asked some of us if we wanted to go to breakfast. And the only thing in Harrisonburg back then was a Waffle House. So a couple of us went to the Waffle House and we just hung out and had breakfast with them. And it was fun. What was interesting was that, outside of his stage persona, which is probably like a little goofy and silly or whatever, he seemed to be a really down to earth, cool guy. And I can remember years later watching him on the Flavor of Love when he did his reality show with VH1. And there were moments, when he would interact with the women on there that, I could, that was the guy who we met that night. Like he just seemed like he was a really, caring person. And I saw that come through on Flavor of Love. And it was kind of, weird because I know that mostly he got the show for his persona, but, real glimpses of who he seemed to be that night came through on his show too.
Did he have the clock on when you met him?
No, not when we went to breakfast.
He doesn't wear it at every Waffle House he visits.
Apparently not.